Yeah, we have 25 days to leave Malaysia. If you watched our last episode, we actually received a notice from immigration stating that we had to leave the country within 9 days, and it's just something that we were unable to do at this time. Our boat is on the hard stand. We still have about 8 jobs that are halfway through that haven't been completed yet. We have Tallulah and we also have Mali.
Tallulah needs documents to travel, which we don't have.
So we were unable to leave within that 9 days notice. We went into immigration and requested an extension, which they granted us an extra 30 days, which is now 25 days. And so we need to be out of here within 25 days. There is the possibility that there might, things might happen in the future of the visas being extended, but at this point we have no certainty of that happening, and so we're operating as though we need to leave the country within 25 days. So that's the gist of it. We thought we'd run you through the options of our sailing plans, the options that we have of places to go, and also let you guys know of the decision that we've made. So stick around to the end of the video to watch where we're actually going to be going. And thank you so much to everyone that messaged and commented on our last episode. We had hundreds and hundreds of people that were just cheering us on and giving us options, and just basically putting in their 2 cents of what they thought we should be doing. And it was really nice, and it was very supportive for us.
For the situation that we are in, because we are in quite the sticky situation, and some big decisions need to be made on what we can do and what we need to do. So at the moment we need to get ready to leave. I'm confident that Nandji will be ready to sail within our time frame, so that's not such a big issue. But we need to have documents for Tallulah, which have all been lodged, and we're just waiting to receive them, so that shouldn't be a big deal. So the options and places that we have are limited because of COVID and borders closures, and so the immediate countries around us, there are some open. Further to the west there are some open, many are closed, and there's many restrictions and hoops that you need to jump through, basically. So the immediate countries around us, closest to Malaysia, many boats usually travel between Malaysia and Thailand. So Thailand's only a couple of 100 miles away, pretty easy sail, no open ocean. And so that is an option because Thailand is accepting yachts to enter. Currently it's $5,000 for 2 adults and a boat to enter. You have to do 14 days quarantine on board your boat, but you do get a long visa, so you get 9-month visa. So there is a little bit of certainty and guarantee, but then we have to spend 9 months in Thailand. We've been to Thailand, it is a beautiful country, but we don't want to spend 9 months in Thailand. And like
$5,000 is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money to enter a country that used to be free.
And so then where do we go after that? Like, how much is this going to cost to move around now?
And then, so we have 9 months, so we have certainty, but that's only for 9 months. And then what happens at the end of that? Malaysia's borders are closed. You can seek exemptions for yachts to enter. Once again, it's a long process, but Malaysia's borders are closed, and currently everyone's getting kicked out, so we don't know whether they're going to allow yachts to enter anyway, as it is. So there's that option to go to Thailand. Indonesia, which is the visas are about $2,000 for all 3 of us, $2,000 for the 3 of us to enter. Indonesia is a very big country, but it's a very remote country as well. So you have to be fully equipped and ready to cruise.
There's, it's hard to import parts if anything happens with Nandji. You can't get parts there. There's nowhere to get. There's no marinas really. There's a few, but
very spaced out.
Yeah. Very spaced out, and so getting boat work done is very difficult there, depending on where you are. And so there's not a lot of healthcare either, so you need to stock up on all of that stuff. It's very remote. You basically need to be self-sufficient and ready to go, which is partly why we want to get
Nandji has to be ready.
Ready for the remoteness of Indonesia.
But Indonesia is a beautiful country, and that is a top option where we wanted to go before COVID anyway, and then to head west. The Maldives is open, but you're not allowed to enter the Maldives with a dog, and it's now too late in the season to head in the northern hemisphere across to the Maldives. To head west, you need to get down into the southern hemisphere, which involves going through Indonesia, which you need to get your visa for, and then heading across to Mauritius, Reunion are closed as far as I understand. Madagascar is closed. South Africa is open to yachts entering, but it's kind of getting into the middle of the trades now. We haven't really shaken down sail, and to do a massive ocean crossing at the moment with Tallulah, we want another person on board, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
So to continue this journey and sail further away from Australia just kind of seems a little bit silly at this point in time in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, things are starting to get a little bit wild with the pandemic, and it just really doesn't make sense for us to be sailing away from our country.
And to be so long at sea, it's a 30-day non-stop plus sail from here to South Africa. And then so I guess the other option is to continue through Indonesia onto Australia, which seems like the most logical solution for us to do at the moment. But we still need to require a visa for Indonesia, and then we'll still have to pay quarantine fees upon entering Australia because our time at sea is not counted as quarantine. So when we arrive, we need to put the boat into a marina and go off to the quarantine camp basically. So that's 14 days, which is 4,000 Australian dollars for the both of us.
What about Tallulah?
Tallulah is free
Because
she's only a baby.
Yeah.
So that is the option that we are choosing to do. We're going to sail through Indonesia and head back to Australia.
Yeah, which was one of the comments, the main comments that people put on our last episode. I think a lot of people were kind of pushing for that as well for us.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely the smartest, most sensible solution for us to do, just so we're not at the whim of a country's government. Like all of a sudden we have 25 days to leave Malaysia.
And
so
I think Tallulah really changes everything as well. Like if it was just us, we'd probably, I don't know.
We might just do that sail across.
And one of the biggest factors with choosing to go back to Australia is the fact that we have Marley. He can't just jump around from country to country. Marley can't just go back to Australia from Indonesia, from Thailand, from any of these other countries that are around us at the moment. He needs to do it via New Zealand. He needs to have spent 6 months in Malaysia and then done 3 months worth of blood work, which we already have done. So he's been here for a year already, and we started the process of getting his blood work done a few months ago, just in case we needed to go back to Australia, just in case
we did it to give ourselves options, because we didn't know what the future held, and lo and behold, it was good that we gave ourselves options past selves.
Yeah, so it was $1,000 to start his blood work. We didn't know what was going to happen, but we thought we just want to have this in place in case that's what needs to happen. So he's almost ready to be exported. He'll be exported to New Zealand, where he'll do 10 days quarantine, and then he needs to spend 3 months boarding in New Zealand. So there's a farm that he's going to go to where he can run around in a big paddock with other dogs for 3 months, and then he can be exported from there to Australia. That's the only way that he can get home.
So for an animal to enter Australia, they need to, if they're entering by plane, you need to fly directly to Melbourne and the Melbourne facility, except Australia don't accept animals from Malaysia, as from the start of 2020, basically when COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so Australia doesn't accept animals from Indonesia, from Thailand, and so Marley can't go to those countries. Now that he has done the time here in Malaysia, now is the only time, basically, unless we come back to Malaysia to spend a further 6 months. So it makes sense, since we have done the time, we have things organised, that we go through this process, send Marley to New Zealand, and then we'll meet him in Australia as we sail through Indonesia and enter Australia. So we have 4 months basically to get to Australia to meet Marley.
Yeah.
It's a very long process, animals can't be sailed into Australia. You know, it'd be awesome if we could just sail non-stop from here to Australia and Marley enters with us. But Australia don't accept our time at sea as quarantine, and they won't accept Marley's time at sea for quarantine. And Marley cannot enter by sailboat.
Yeah.
He'll be put down if he enters that way. So it's serious consequences, and Australia don't mess around with their quarantine. They're very strict when it comes to that.
We have mentioned this before, that if Marley sails back with us, he'll get put down, and people have commented saying that I'm sure Australia will be lenient. They are not. There is no lenience. We've had other yachties sail back to Australia not realising the strict quarantine regulations, and sadly their dog has been put down.
Australian weren't lenient enough as us Australian citizens to return to Australia to have our baby. So for an animal to enter, you can understand the strict situation, that what they're going to implement upon Marley if we attempted that. So you have to respect the rules, as we say, and so these are the hurdles and hoops we have to jump through. It's a very expensive process, and this process is going to cost around 8,000 Australian dollars.
That's just for Marley.
That's just for Marley, plus the for us to quarantine, plus the couple of thousand US to enter Indonesia. So we have these large bills that we are faced now, but that is the reality of us being overseas and the baggage that we have. I'm calling Marley baggage, but it's just the reality that it is, and we're not going to give up Marley. Marley is part of the family, and so we just have to lump this, swallow it, and endure it.
There's no way that we could just leave him overseas with someone else and then, you know, pick him up once the pandemic calms down. We don't know how long that's going to be. It could be 4 years away. It could be 1 year away. We don't know.
That's right, and we're just not willing to leave Nandji overseas and leave Marley overseas. These are just two options that we just don't see fit. We could try to get on a plane which is struggling to enter Australia and be cancelled and delayed, which has been happening for the last 12 months, and then we're leaving our house and we're leaving in Marley, and we just don't see that as an option. That we all need to stay together in this time, and which is what we will do. So yeah, that's the plan. We're going to head on into Indonesia. We've applied for our visas, so hopefully we get them soon.
Yeah.
And I know we can hang on to hope that something happens here in Malaysia, that we can get a further 30-day extension. That would be ideal, because we still need to wait for Tallulah's documents, and we need to finish off sending Marley.
They gave us an extra 30 days, but Marley is about 45 days away from being ready to be exported. So we need that extra 15 days on top to be able to get him ready. And we'd honestly just like to be able to cruise out of here once we feel prepared, once we've had a little sail with Tallulah, and just not feel like we're pushed out. And, you know, it may happen sooner than what.
But we just don't know. We just don't know what's going to happen with Malaysia. But at the moment, it seems like it's very hardball, and we need to respect that. So we need to be ready to leave.
Yeah.
So that's what we've done, and I just got to go back to work now.
Yeah. So a lot of these, I guess the next videos will be us doing boat work. A lot of these had already been started before we had the notice. They just hadn't been posted yet, and we're still continuing them on. So it's not like we've been given 9 days notice and then we've started doing the windows. Like, no, these, we're already in the process. And
so in the future you will see these boat work videos that have been occurring over the past few weeks. But for now, we just need to get everything ready. Wanted to keep you up to date with our situation, because it's a very difficult one, it's a very stressful one, and it's just the reality of what it is at the moment.
So yeah, the plan is we're sailing back. So the plan is Marley's getting flown back to New Zealand, then to Australia. We are going to sail through Indonesia and then head back across to Australia. So it's the wrong time to be sailing the way that we want to go. So it's going to be pretty challenging. And
so we're going to hang out in Indonesia until the trade winds ease off, which is the plan. There's plenty of remote islands in Indonesia, and it is beautiful. So we will hopefully be able to enjoy some cruising life on the way back to Australia, which is the big plan. The big plan is just to get sailing first. But I think once we reach Indonesia, we'll find our happy place. We love Indonesia. We've had a beautiful time in the past years that we have spent in Indonesia. So we do look forward to getting back into that country. Even though the visas are 3 times the amount they used to be, it is what it is.
We're on the way home.
We're on the way home, and which is exciting. So we left Australia in July 2017 when we sailed out of the Gold Coast Seaway. And I guess around October, November of this year, we'll be sailing into Darwin.
Yeah. And we'll be looking, I guess we can't even have a welcoming party, but I guess once we get out of jail, out of quarantine, we can have a party after that. So everyone that's in Darwin, we can't wait. I'm sure we'll put some kind of do on so we can meet all of you guys up in Darwin.
And then by entering into Australia and entering into Darwin, it actually puts you smack bang straight back in the cruising route as you head around the world. So we'll see what happens next year, and if next year is ready, we can cruise WA, head down WA coast, and then head off to Cocos Keeling and across the Indian Ocean to all these other countries. So honestly, to cross the Indian Ocean and to reach Africa is something that we have wanted to do for years, and we've been trying our hardest for that to occur. We were so close at the start of last year, but happy that it never occurred, as we now have Tallulah and we have Nandji, which is going to be even better, and because the virus has happened. But we don't want to head out to sea and not stop and visit countries like Mauritius, Reunion, Madagascar. Yeah. Beautiful places with just such, they look like an amazing area and amazing culture, amazing animals. And so we really want to be able to stop and explore. And at the moment, that is not a feasible option. We'd literally just be spending all our time at sea, which, you know, is not part of the cruising life. It's part of sailing, but it's not part of the cruising life. Like, we don't mind going to sea for long times, but we enjoy the destinations as much as the journey. So, so now we're going to head into Indonesia, enjoy the journey into Indonesia, get back to Australia and have summer in Australia and start again next year.
Yeah. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and follow our journey. It's going to be a pretty interesting one, I think, of us heading back home. And
if you like our videos, please think about supporting our channel and becoming a patron, because these bills and the situation we're in is pretty heavy. And so thank you so much to everyone that has signed up through our last video and seeing the stress and understanding the situation that we are in. We do know that we've put ourselves in this position to a degree. It's just the decisions you make, and now we're faced with these other decisions that are being forced upon us. So we hope that Malaysia extend our visas for a bit longer so we can get properly organised. Hopefully Indonesia comes through with this visa. Yeah. Hopefully we can enter Australia. Hopefully they can exempt us to allow us to sail in. Yeah. Hopefully everything goes smoothly with Mali. Hopefully. Hopefully.
Everything.
Hopefully everything. So that's the situation, and I need to get back to work. Let's talk.
All right.
Good to see you, Mama.
Thanks, guys.